Hey there, e-commerce merchants! Today we're going to compare the pop-up forms on both Omnisend and Mailchimp and see how they compare, which one is easier to use, all that jazz. Let's get into it. So let's start with Omnisend. You would be taken to the dashboard first, and then you would need to go to forms. And since this is a new account, I'm going to be showing this, but I'm just going to view other forms, which is essentially clicking create form. And it takes me to the template library that Omnisend offers. And if we scroll down, you can see that there are a lot of templates to choose from. And if you want to filter them out a bit based on theme, type, or goal, feel free to do that over here. I'm going to select the pop-up type over here, and I'm going to select, let's say, this one. And we are taken to the form builder. So it has multiple options, as you can see. You can start an A/B test to see which forms would perform the best, and you can adjust the targeting, the visibility, and frequency on the right over here. You can adjust the theme settings. So for example, if you want to have a fly out, the pop-up that just flies out from the side. If you want to have a landing page, or if you want to embed this pop-up form in your website directly. In my case, I'm just going to choose the pop-up, which is the simplest one. You can also adjust the form's position. So if you want to be on the bottom, you will notice that it's not exactly in the middle. It would be more towards the bottom. But the default one is the center one, which is a good place to start because it's just the center of attention. You want all of the attention when this pops up. Now, if we focus on the left side, you can see that you can add a bunch of elements from the side over here. So for example, you can add a legal block, which is required for GDPR or TCPA, or in other words, to get a marketing consent from your customers, or you can add multiple input fields, phone number, date, drop down, everything else. What's really interesting is the countdown timer that we have. For example, if you have a very limited time deal, let's say it only lasts for the whole July, it's going to set the timer to count down to that specific date, to that specific time. For example, 12 p.m. And it's going to count down the days, the hours, the minutes, and seconds. It is a really good way to encourage urgency to your customers. Then you can also add buttons which have different actions. So technically, our forms are not only sign-up forms. You can just pop up the message on your website to direct them to a different link, to take action on something, not just to enter their email and subscribe to your newsletters, for example. You can just, let me show you actually. Let's delete this button. Let's keep this one and call it get the deal. And instead of going to the next step, I'm going to link it to some website, yourstore.com/deal. And I'm going to change this text to limited time sale. I'm going to bold it and center it. There we go. Now we have a countdown, we have a text. You can add another text field, for example, to have a little bit more of a disclaimer. And this is what it would look like. You're not even asking anyone for any information. You just want them to take the action. If they are not interested, you can just close the form. Or alternatively, you can add another button, but in my case, I'm just going to duplicate this one and call it. And what it's going to do is it's going to close the form. Now the button itself could be secondary to focus the attention on the get the deal button instead of this one, but it's really your call. You can just adjust it as you see fit. And here we go. Now, if we want to actually create just a form, I'm going to repurpose the second step. So let's ignore the first one and actually include a sign up form instead. So what we can do is go to the second step, go to the theme settings, form, and let's say we want, actually I like this one. It's a small, cute little one. And you can enter a bunch of input fields. You can ask for date, as I said, drop down, radio button, etc., or you can include also a phone number. But if you want to include a phone number, you're also going to have to include a legal consent and switch it to collect SMS consent. Now also you have to link to your privacy policy. If you don't have one, you should create one. And then you can collect SMS subscribers as well. In this case, it doesn't really look good that phone label is there, so I'm just going to get rid of it. It's kind of given. What is the intended input here? And this is what it will look like. Now, you might be a little bit confused about the step 1 and step 2, so let me go back to step 1. And instead of showing you that this is not a sign-up field and then the second one is a sign-up field, I'm going to repurpose this to say, this is just a very simple question. Put it in the middle and call this one yes, I do, or just keep it not interested and make it close the form. If the person clicks yes, I do, it takes you to the next step and it's asking you for an email. Simple as that. So this is a quick rundown of what Omnisend offers. Let's go to the Mailchimp side. Now, if you want to create a form on Mailchimp side, you can go to audience and then click on sign up forms, or you can just click on create. And let's select sign up form and a pop-up form. Let's name it test, for example, and let's begin. Is that Mailchimp doesn't have any templates, as it seems, for their forms, and it only has this one, which is given to everyone, and you can adjust it to fit your liking, as opposed to Omnisend, which offers a lot of form templates. So from the first glance, Mailchimp's builder is a bit more simple. It's a bit more simplified. So you can adjust the style on the left side over here. You can change the font, and it changes the fonts to everything. For example, if you select headings to a different font, or paragraphs, heading is going to change this one, and paragraphs is going to change everything else. You can also change the colors to headings, paragraphs, labels, and background color. And you can also adjust the font size over here. And I believe it's a global change. So it changes, yes, it changes the entire form. Now, if we go to layout, it gives you the similar options that Omnisend has given you. And you can have just a frame. You can have the image on the top, side, or other side. Let's keep it that way. And if we go to settings, so we can adjust the display, position settings, and don't show again for the same customer for X days. And you can also choose to close the success message after X amount of seconds. When the customer signs up, it just disappears on its own. Now, as I said, there is no drag and drop builder over here. What you have is a text field over here. So you can add a bunch of input fields instead. You can ask the person for their first name, last name, address, phone number, birthday, or you can create your own new field. You cannot add a countdown timer. You cannot add multiple text fields. You cannot add another image, as is also possible on Omnisend side. You can only ask the user for more input fields. There's also no multiple step process. So it's only just a mobile banner that's going to display on mobile. And after you click on it, this is what it's giving you. And additionally, if you see over here, you can also add disclaimers for each individual element that is there. So for example, if you want to have a description for the email field, you can click over here and just say, please enter your email. And if you want to replace the image over here, which is the default one, you can click on replace, choose an image, and it's going to pop up over here. Now, additionally, if you want to add a SMS sign up field, you cannot really do that on a free plan. So if you have a paid one, you can do that. I cannot really test it myself. And there you have it. That is the quick comparison of creating a pop-up form on both Omnisend and Mailchimp. Each platform has its own cons and pros, and it's up to you to pick which one you prefer. Thanks for watching, and I think you might like this video. It's pretty good. Check it out. Please. If you made it this far, can you leave your favorite pet name in the comments below? So I know you watched the entire video. That would be cool.